subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Ali had always been fascinated by old buildings. His friends often found his obsession a bit strange, especially when it came to his school. The school, built many decades ago, had a history that no one truly knew. Rumors had circulated for years about the old building on the back corner of the campus. Ali had heard many stories about it, but one in particular always caught his attention: the mystery of the missing students. Every year, a student would disappear without a trace. It seemed as though the building itself was somehow involved. No one had ever seen the students again, and no one dared to investigate the old building. It was as if it were cursed, a place of evil that should be left alone. Ali, however, couldn't shake the feeling that something more was hidden there, something far darker than mere stories. His curiosity drove him to explore the building against the warnings of his friends and even the teachers. But what he didn't expect was what he would uncover in that ancient structure. The first encounter, Ali's first visit to the old building, was eerily silent. The air seemed thick, almost suffocating. The walls were covered in peeling paint, and the floors creaked under his weight. He walked cautiously, feeling as if something was watching him. As he ventured deeper, he stumbled upon a dusty old photograph framed on the wall. It was of a girl, her eyes haunting and her smile unsettling. The name on the bottom of the photo read Kiran. Ali's heart raced. The girl in the photo looked as though she could be a former student, but there was something about her that didn't sit right. His mind raced with questions. Who was she? Why was her photo on the wall? What did it mean? Suddenly, he heard a faint whisper, barely audible, yet unmistakably clear. "Help me." Ali froze. The whisper seemed to come from all around him. He looked back, but there was no one there. He turned and ran from the building, his heart pounding in his chest. The haunted past. Ali couldn't get the image of Kiran out of his mind. The photograph kept replaying in his thoughts. What did it mean? Who was she? His curiosity grew stronger, and he began to research the school's history. What he found shook him to the core. Kiran had been a student at the school many years ago, but according to the old records, she had mysteriously disappeared, just like the others. And what was even stranger was that every year after her disappearance, another student vanished in the same way. It was as if Kiran's spirit had been trapped in the school, seeking others to join her. Ali decided he needed to learn more. He gathered his friends, Shojib and Samira, and together they planned to investigate the cursed building. They had no idea what awaited them. The curse revealed. On the night of their investigation, the trio entered the building. The air was cold, and the silence was suffocating. They made their way to the basement, where the temperature dropped even further. Shojib, always the skeptic, tried to lighten the mood with jokes, but even he couldn't deny the oppressive atmosphere. As they ventured deeper into the basement, they found a hidden door that led to a small, dark room. Inside, they discovered an old journal, covered in dust. The journal belonged to Kiran. The entries were filled with fear and desperation. Kiran wrote about feeling trapped, her soul unable to rest. She had been taken by something in the building, a dark force that needed others to feed off of in order to survive. Ali's blood ran cold as he read the journal's final entry. "If anyone reads this, know that I am not alone. The curse will never end, and it will continue to take students year after year." The warning. After reading Kiran's journal, the trio realized they had uncovered the terrible truth. The building was cursed, but that wasn't all. The curse wasn't just affecting the building, it was slowly taking hold of them as well. They began to hear strange noises, whispers, footsteps, and the occasional screech of a door opening. They couldn't leave. Samira screamed when she saw a shadow move across the wall. Ali and Shojib rushed to her, but when they turned around, the shadow was gone. It was as though something had been following them, watching their every move. The air grew colder, and Ali felt a growing sense of dread. He looked back at the photograph of Kiran in his mind, and knew that something more was coming, something that would change them all forever. The encounter with Kiran's spirit. The next night, Ali returned to the building alone. He couldn't shake the feeling that Kiran's spirit was trying to communicate with him. He entered the basement again, and this time, he felt an overwhelming presence. The temperature dropped, and the whispers returned, louder than before. Suddenly, the ghostly figure of Kiran appeared before him, her eyes hollow, her face pale. She didn't speak, but Ali could hear her voice in his mind. I was trapped here, and now you are too. Every year, I take one, and now it's your turn. Ali tried to run, but the door slammed shut, trapping him inside. He was surrounded by darkness, and Kiran's ghostly presence grew stronger. He felt as though his soul was being drained. The whispers grew louder, and then Kiran's voice echoed in his ears. You cannot escape. The struggle for survival. Ali fought with all his strength, desperate to break free from the building's grip. But no matter how hard he tried, the walls seemed to close in on him. He realized that Kiran's curse was not just about vanishing, it was about trapping souls in the building forever. Shojib and Samira, who had followed him into the building, fought their own battles. Samira had her own encounter with Kiran's spirit, which left her shaken and terrified. She was certain that the curse had marked them, and they would soon join the list of missing students. They tried everything they could think of to break the curse, prayers, rituals, and even trying to destroy the building. But nothing worked. They were trapped in a never-ending nightmare. The final confrontation. After days of desperation, Ali realized the only way to end the curse was to confront the evil force head-on. He and Shojib made a plan to enter the heart of the building, where Kiran's spirit was most powerful. As they ventured deeper into the building, the air grew colder, and the whispers became deafening. Suddenly, Kiran appeared again, but this time, her form was more terrifying. Her eyes were completely black, and her body seemed to float above the ground. Ali knew he had to make a choice, face the spirit and free them all, or succumb to the curse like everyone else before them. The aftermath. After the confrontation, Ali and his friends thought they had finally broken the curse. They shared their experiences with others, but no one believed them. The school continued to operate, and the students carried on, unaware of the dark history hidden beneath their feet. However, Ali could never shake the feeling that something was still wrong. Whenever he passed the old building, he felt an eerie sensation, as though something or someone was watching him. And then, one day, Ali opened his door to find that the photograph of Kiran, which had once been lost, had reappeared. Kiran's haunting smile stared back at him, and he realized that the curse was never truly gone. The return of the curse, Ali realized, was not something that could ever be fully destroyed. Kiran's spirit would always remain in the building, and every year, it would claim another victim. The cycle was endless, and there was no escaping it. Ali and his friends had managed to break the curse for a time, but it would always return. They had only delayed the inevitable. The building, and the evil force that resided within it, would continue to haunt the school, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting students to cross its threshold. Ali and Shojib knew they would have to live with the knowledge that the curse was far from over. It was a part of their lives now, a dark shadow that would never leave, a dark revelation. As the years went by, Ali and Shojib tried their best to move on with their lives, but the memories of the old school and Kiran's curse lingered like a shadow over them. Every time they spoke about it, they felt the same chill down their spines. They had tried to forget, to live normal lives, but they knew that something evil still resided in that cursed building. One night, as Ali was going through his old notes from the investigation, he came across a strange discovery. There were symbols and markings on Kiran's journal that they hadn't noticed before. These symbols were the key to the curse's origin. They pointed to an ancient ritual, a way to release the spirits trapped within the building and break the cycle for good. Ali felt a surge of dread as he realized that the ritual was incredibly dangerous. If performed incorrectly, it could strengthen the curse instead of breaking it. But there was no other choice. The curse had to end. The ancient ritual. Ali called Shojib and Samira, telling them that they had to go back to the school once again. This time, they needed to perform the ritual they had discovered. The markings on the journal indicated a specific location in the building, the old basement, where the curse had first taken root. They gathered the items they would need for the ritual: candles, incense, a special artifact that had to be placed in the center of the room, and a piece of Kiran's journal. It was the only way to confront the evil that had been lingering for so long. As they entered the basement, they felt the familiar chill in the air. The whispers once again filled the space, but this time they were more menacing, more forceful. Ali and his friends began the ritual. Following the steps carefully, the room grew darker as the candles flickered and the shadows around them seemed to move. It felt as though the building itself was alive, reacting to their actions. Suddenly, the temperature dropped even further, and Kiran's voice echoed through the room. "You cannot stop me. You will never escape." The battle for their souls. The ritual was far from easy. As they chanted the final incantations, Kiran's ghostly form materialized once again, her twisted figure floating above them. Her eyes glowed with an eerie light, and her mouth twisted into a sinister grin. "You think you can destroy me?" she hissed. "I am part of this building now. The curse is eternal." The air grew thick with malevolent energy, and the shadows in the room seemed to grow darker, suffocating them. Ali and his friends struggled to keep their focus, their hearts racing as they fought the overpowering force of Kiran's spirit. Suddenly, Shojib collapsed to the ground, screaming in pain. Ali and Samira rushed to him, but it was as if an invisible force was pulling him deeper into the shadows. His eyes rolled back, and his voice was distorted as he cried out, "Help! Help me!" The room was spinning, and Ali could feel his own strength fading. The curse was fighting back harder than ever. But they had no choice. If they didn't complete the ritual, they would all be consumed by the curse forever. The sacrifice. In that moment, Ali knew what had to be done. He realized that in order to break the curse for good, one of them had to make the ultimate sacrifice. They couldn't defeat Kiran without offering something in return, something precious. With a heavy heart, Ali turned to Samira and Shojib. He knew the decision he had to make, but he couldn't bring himself to say it out loud. The curse had to end, but at what cost? Shojib, his eyes filled with fear and understanding, said quietly, "Ali, it has to be one of us. If we don't stop this now, Kiran will keep taking more souls." Samira looked at Ali with tears in her eyes, knowing that the situation was hopeless unless they gave everything they had. "I'm ready," she whispered. Ali didn't hesitate. He reached for the artifact in the center of the room, and as he held it in his hand, a wave of energy washed over him. The ritual's power surged, and Kiran's scream of rage filled the air. The darkness in the room seemed to consume everything, and with a final cry, the building trembled. The shadows receded, and the curse, for the first time in years, began to lose its grip. But in the process, Samira was pulled into the void, her sacrifice sealing the curse's end. The end of the curse, or is it? With Samira gone, the air in the basement cleared. Ali and Shojib collapsed to the ground, exhausted and broken. The school was silent once again. For the first time in years, there was peace, but peace was fleeting. As they left the cursed building, Ali looked back one last time.
He knew that while they had defeated the curse, the building would never truly be free. Its history, its evil, would always remain embedded in the walls, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting souls. As Ali and Shojib walked away, they felt the weight of what they had done. They had saved many lives, but they had lost one in the process. The price of breaking the curse had been high, but they had no choice. And in the distance, the sound of whispers lingered in the wind, as if reminding them that evil never truly disappears. The final truth: Ali and Shojib thought they had ended the curse, but the strange occurrences continued. The whispers never stopped, and they couldn't shake the feeling that something was still waiting in the darkness of the old school. Ali knew that one day, someone else would find their way into that cursed building, and when they did, they would uncover the truth. The curse wasn't over, it had simply gone dormant, waiting for the next victim to cross its threshold. Ali realized that they had only delayed the inevitable. The curse would always return, and the building would never truly be free. But as long as they lived, they would carry the weight of the lost soul, and the price of breaking the curse with them. And so, they moved on with their lives, haunted by the knowledge that the curse was never truly gone. The unexpected visitor. Months passed, and life slowly returned to normal for Ali and Shojib. But one night, as Ali sat alone in his room, he heard a knock at the door. He opened it cautiously, only to find no one there. But on the doorstep was a small, old photograph, the same one of Kiran that had haunted him all these years. The return of the shadows. Ali was paralyzed by the photograph on his doorstep. The image of Kiran stared back at him, her hollow eyes still full of torment. His hands trembled as he picked it up, his mind racing with confusion. How could this be? The curse had ended, hadn't it? Samira had sacrificed herself, they had completed the ritual, and the building had been silenced. But this photograph meant something entirely different. Kiran's spirit was still alive, and it had found a way back. As Ali stared at the picture, he felt a cold gust of wind blow through his window. The chill felt unnatural, and the air grew heavier. He looked up, his eyes widening as the room around him began to shift. The walls seemed to pulse, and shadows moved across the floor like they were alive. Ali's heart began to race. He realized that the curse hadn't been broken, it had only been dormant. The spirit of Kiran, and whatever dark entity resided within the school, had simply bided its time, and now it was returning with greater power than ever before. He rushed to Shojib's house to warn him, knowing they had to go back to the old school. But when he arrived, Shojib wasn't home. His phone was off, and the house felt eerily quiet. As Ali searched for any sign of Shojib, he found something that made his blood run cold. A message scrawled across the wall, in red letters. "The curse has returned, help me." The handwriting was unfamiliar, but Ali knew in his gut that it was connected to the spirit of Kiran. The final confrontation. Ali had no choice but to return to the school. Once again, he knew the battle wasn't over, and now he had to face whatever waited for him in the heart of the cursed building. As he entered the school grounds, the air felt thick with malevolence. The whispers that had once been distant now echoed in his ears, and the darkness seemed to follow him as he walked. The doors of the building creaked open, and Ali stepped inside. The familiar feeling of dread washed over him, but this time it was stronger, almost suffocating. The building had changed. It was as though the curse had transformed it, turning it into something even more dangerous. He ventured into the basement, the place where everything had started. The walls seemed to close in on him, and the floor beneath his feet felt unstable, as though the very foundation of the building was about to collapse. But he couldn't stop now. As he descended into the heart of the basement, he saw it, the figure of Kiran, standing in the shadows. Her eyes were black, her body twisted and contorted in unnatural ways. She no longer looked human, but rather a monstrous, vengeful entity. Her voice, distorted and eerie, filled the air. "You failed," Kiran whispered. "The curse is eternal. You will never escape." Ali's mind raced as he realized the truth. The curse wasn't just about the building, it was about the darkness that had been unleashed long ago, a force far older and more powerful than they could ever understand. And now, Kiran was nothing more than a vessel for that ancient evil. In that moment, Ali understood that he wasn't just fighting for his own survival. He was fighting for the souls of everyone who had ever walked through those cursed halls. He couldn't allow the darkness to spread any further. He had to stop it, no matter the cost. With a final desperate cry, Ali charged at Kiran, the last remnants of his strength pushing him forward. The building trembled as he faced the dark spirit. For the first time, Ali felt a strange sense of peace. He knew this was his final battle. There was no turning back now. The final confrontation between Ali and Kiran shook the very foundations of the building. A blinding light filled the room, and a deafening scream echoed through the halls as Kiran's spirit was consumed by the power of the curse.